one of the main achievements of the Soviet space program. 19 years ago, the Baikonur ground shook as the Buran, the Russian version of the US space shuttle, made its first flight. But unlike its Western counterpart, it saw the stars in outer space just once. Magomed Talboyev was among those pilots that tested this aircraft in the atmosphere. He is still fascinated by it today.
It was something magnificent. It was a rocket and a plane at the same time. It flies to space as a rocket, and then it turns into a plane on its way back. And as an aeroplane, it was magnificent. With an overall weight of about 80 tons, it was as maneuverable as a fighter jet.
The Buran began in 1974 as an answer to the US space shuttle program. Almost 20-year project cost billions of dollars. 1 in 10 of the adult population of Russia contributed something to it. Yuri Semyonov, as a general constructor of the Buran Energia project, remembers how massive it all was.
The Buran Energia project required a massive cooperation of over 1,200 various organizations from all over the former USSR. Various parts were built in different places around the country, and then the complex was put together at the Baikonur Cosmodrome.
In some aspects, the Buran was superior to the space shuttle. For instance, it could carry 30 tons into space, 5 more than the US spacecraft. The Energia booster could be used on its own to launch a 100-ton payload into space, something the shuttle rocket can do. Buran's only spaceflight and landing was completely automatic. Its groundbreaking flight without a crew has never been repeated. Gennady was there to see Buran land, and is sorry the program was grounded forever.
Buran was a major project that required an enormous amount of manpower. In the 80s, over 1,000 officers annually were recruited to Baikonur for this program. But after the landing, the program was cancelled, and we had no choice but to retire.
With the collapse of the Soviet Union, the country found itself in a major financial crisis, and many say this crisis converted a technological triumph into a practical failure. 5 production Burans and 8 test vehicles, all of them met a different fate. Most of them became a pile of trash. Others were turned into museum exhibitions. And this one is now an attraction for all on the banks of the Moscow River. Many believe Buran was ahead of its time. Some of the innovations are finding their way into modern life. Now the Buran program has a lasting legacy. The US is planning to use a modified version of the Buran engines for a new space vehicle, Orion. It is expected to take the place of the space shuttle in the next decade. Mikhail Lebedev, Russia Today, Moscow.